Holy shit. I don't hope that this is gonna be no engine, but I'm afraid so. We do have a warning on the dashboard for the AdBlue system. That looks like oil. Hey guys, how you doing? I hope you're having a great day. In the last video you saw that we took this engine out of the X5 M50d. In this video we're going to try to find out what went wrong with this engine because it's totally locked up. We are first going to take the gearbox off, then we can fit the engine to a engine stand, and then first we're going to take the oil pan off and see any bearing damage. I think the main bearings are damaged. That's what I think, but I don't know for sure. Yeah, let's get started. Okay guys, so now we're going to try to take off the transmission. I don't know how it's going to go because the torque converter is still attached to the engine, the flywheel. But you can't get that off because the engine is locked and the bolts are all the way around the torque converter, so you can't rotate the engine to loosen the bolts up. So you just have to pull the transmission off, and then the torque converter is going to come loose the transmission, hopefully. As you can see, we have a little bit of space between the flywheel and the engine, just enough so that we can sneak a wrench in here and loosen the bolts. There she is. Oh, it's pretty heavy. Damn. Okay guys, so I got this thing turned around now on the engine stand. I don't know if this thing will hold, but you see how big the engine is, and the engine stand isn't that big, but yeah, fuck it. If it fails, it fails. So, why maybe question you why I have this thing turned around already is because we are gonna take this oil pan off because these engines are known to have bearing failures. And because this engine has such a bad oil in it, I think that's our problem, but the engine is not turning. So I want to make sure that this engine is savable, because if you have a very bad spun bearing or something like that, we can't use this engine anymore. So first we have to dismount some things here, then we can take the oil pan off. When that's off, we know hopefully what's wrong with this engine, or maybe the timing chain broke, I don't know, but I think the bearings are shot and they are just totally turned around. That's what I think. So we are gonna investigate that first. Holy shit. You have thick sludge and bearing material everywhere. Look at this. I don't hope that this is gonna be no engine, but I'm afraid so. Okay guys, so first we're gonna remove the oil pump. There goes the oil pump. I don't think this is the worst one. As you can see, there's not even a bearing in here. This is just the engine, and I can feel a little groove here. As you can see, I don't know. As you You can see bearing spun in the housing. Not a good sign. But we're gonna have to see the worst one, because this is just nothing compared with the iron shavings we found in the block. So which one is gonna be the worst one? This one tells the same story. Spun bearing. I don't know if this engine is savable, guys. This one's also in. This one we already had. So maybe it's the crank bearings that are stuck. Let's see if we can turn around this engine now. If you can turn it around now, and work the main bearings. And if you can't, probably a rod bearing stuck. Let's see. No. Still nothing. Oh yes, there it goes. Okay. So probably the main bearings were the issue. We're gonna now take the rod bearings off and see in what for shape they are. Okay guys, as you could see, one main bearing was, a couple main bearings were spun. They weren't so bad that I thought that this engine was totally crap. So we are gonna take the crank out of it, but to take the crank out we have to take the timing chain out of it. And you have to take that pulley off, then we have to do just the auxiliary belt that we have to take off. But take off the valve cover. But all these turbos are so close to the valve cover, and I wanted to take off the turbos anyways because they are a known failure point with this engine. So yeah, let's get started taking these turbos off. When you have these turbos off, we can take off the valve cover and then take the timing chain off. And when we have the timing chain off and that auxiliary belt with that pulley, we can loosen the rod bearings. When we have the rod bearings and everything loose, we can take off the crankshaft. So yeah, let's get started. Flaps. Yeah. We're gonna remove all this black soot from in the intake. Next up, we will take the auxiliary belt off. And also here at home, the belt has been stuck at one point. Doesn't look too bad, or we're going to replace it anyways. There it is. Okay guys, so we have the engine back on the engine lift. First we're gonna take off these bolts on the top. Okay, so here's the timing chain. Okay guys, as you can see we have the crank totally out now. There's luckily enough no damage to the engine. It's just can't feel anything with a nail or something. You see all of them look like that, and they didn't turn all of them. So yeah, this one also. We got lucky, boys and girls. Only thing that I need to replace is this rod. As you can see there, this one was the worst, it melted. And we're also gonna replace, I think, this one because it became a little bit hot. And this one was right. And yeah, this one, because it also became a little bit hot. But that is good news. Also the caps for the rod bearing are nicely intact. None of them are like really damaged or something like this. So yeah, we can set those back on, and we have to get a new crank. That's logical because this one I can't even get the bearings off. You see this, the one that we definitely have to replace, that rod. As you can see also here, it's totally cooked here for the middle bearings. Doesn't look too bad, it's of course rock, but and these were pretty bad also from a rod we need to replace. So yeah, new crank, couple of new rods, and then we can put this thing back together. But to take the rods out, you have to take the pistons out. To take the pistons out, you have to take off the cylinder head. So we can take off this turbo and then we can take off the head. Maybe we can take it off without taking the turbo off, but I don't think so. So let's take that cylinder head off. Okay guys, so as you can see, cylinders are in a good condition. Okay guys, so as you can see, the sump is finally clean. Now we can tackle the rest. Okay guys, so I have all new bearings. Now we have to fit the top ones. These are the top ones. We have to fit them in the gaps of the block. Also 0.038. Okay guys, so I'm gonna check if all these clearances are in spec. I don't know, I don't think this is in spec, but Okay guys, so today we are finally going to put these pistons in. As you can see, I cleaned the pistons. Got all the carbon deposit off of them and it's looking way nicer. All the piston rings nice and free, so yeah. Okay guys, so as you can see, everything here is torqued in now. Everything is nice and clean. So now we can start reassembling the rest of the engine. Okay guys, now we can trim the engine. And it's turning really smooth. Okay guys, as you can see, I cleaned the surface of the head with some Scotch-Brite. This is just nothing, you can feel it with your nail or something like that. I also measured the head if it was straight, and it luckily enough is straight, so we don't have to bring it to the machine shop to make this flat again. And if you come over here, we have the engine with all the pistons in, and I also cleaned this surface, the main surface of the block, so we can finally put the cylinder head on. That's a big step in this part here, guys. So yeah, let's get started and do that. Oh, Jesus. Okay guys, we got those last two new seals in, new gaskets, so we can finally put this thing together now. Okay. Now we have to put the flywheel on. Okay, now we can turn the engine back around. Start on the valve cover. New glow plug. New copper washers with rubber greased up injectors so that they never get stuck. Okay guys, so the intake goes on with all new gaskets, of course. Okay guys, so as you can see, we're making great progress. Now we can put these turbos back on. And as you can see, I did all new bearings with the entire inner side, of course, balance and everything. See, that looks much better than it was. That's one turbo in place. I think it's gonna be a piece. think I should loosen this turbo again. Otherwise this thing isn't gonna go on. Man, this thing is such a pain in the ass to work on. Okay guys, I have this thing mounted now. Did have to take the turbo loose again, but it's no problem. Okay, so next up, we need to get this piping in. Next up, this pipe. Okay guys, so we are really close. Need that. Okay guys, so I have to loosen the first bolt again, and then we can get all these 6 bolts in. I ain't gonna film this because it's gonna take a little while, so now I'll torque these down and then we can finally install the engine. Okay guys, so the engine is finally complete. So let's put this thing in, boys.
You cashed in on my promises. You know I'm too generous. Now I've learned to never help you out. 'Cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now. A little stronger now.
Okay. Whew. Okay guys, finally have this one over, this engine mount. So we're gonna thread the bolt in. Okay, that should be enough. Now our goal is putting the other engine mount in, and it's not going to be easy because it's totally not even on it. So let's try that now.
6.5 hours later.
Guys, we're in. Yes. Okay guys, so we did new oil in the transfer case. Now we have to get this transfer case underneath the car. But before we are gonna do that, we're gonna replace the fuel filter, because now we can reach it easily. And it's a good idea because then we don't have fuel pressure in the beginning. So we need to crank it a little bit longer, and it's also good for the oil to reach the important places in the engine, of course. So yeah, God, slow. Put on the transfer case with the ground strap, which was important to start the vehicle, and the axle to the front, as you can see here. Okay guys, so got the electrical cables all installed. They're there. I don't think we need much more to start this car. I don't know for sure, but we're gonna try like this. Let's change the filter, put a new filter in it, put some oil on it, and start this thing. Okay guys, so I have the battery charger hooked up. We're gonna crank it now and hopefully this thing finally starts. Let me grab the air filter because the mass airflow sensor is in there and I don't know if it starts without it. Because the diesel normally wants that sensor hooked up. So let me grab that and then we're gonna mount it and then hopefully it starts. Okay guys, so I was reading the codes and I found the glow plug module has no communication, it's permanent. And I also saw a loose plug, which I think is for the glow plug module. We're gonna check now. That's why I take the air filter off again. Oh yes it is. That's maybe the reason why it doesn't start. He runs, guys, he runs! Amazing! Okay guys, so next up we get a new air filter in there. Put that thing on. Then put the radiator pack on and then we can heat cycle it. And hopefully everything goes well. Okay guys, so now I have to mount all this stuff underneath the car with the dry shaft, and in the back here we have the exhaust there somewhere. Finally have the underside ready. Not completely ready, I have to install the blue injector, but I need a new one because... So yeah, now we're going to start on top of the car and putting the axles back in it and that sort of things. So yeah, finally it's coming to an end. Big project. Okay guys, next up we have to get those axles back in the car. So let's do that first and then we can bolt up the suspension again. And then we have to do the other side. Then we can put the headlights back on and everything. So I have to tighten up the suspension and then we can do the same on the other side. I'm not gonna film the other side because it's just the same but on the other side. So yeah, wish me luck because well, it's a pain in the ass. Okay guys, so now the suspension is all tightened up. Everything nice and tight. Yeah, so now we can start doing the other side. And then we can finally fill the diff and we have to tighten these axle nuts. Starting to look like a car again. Now the other side. Okay guys, let me put all these screws in. Then we can finally put the tires on this thing and take it for a drive. Okay guys, big day. Dropping the car down to the ground.
We're gonna burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. I killed it. It's murder. I killed it. It's murder. I killed it. It's murder.
Not loose.
Go crazy, berserker.
Okay guys, so first drive. We do have a warning on the dashboard for the AdBlue system, but that's the injector and the exhaust that broke. I broke it when I took it off. Oops. And she runs perfect. Took a long time, but it's finally done. Yeah, almost done. So we have the head-up display and everything. You can see. LEDs. Okay guys, so I have to take it easy because the engine is everything is new, new bearings, new chain, everything. So we have to drive 500 kilometers and then we have to change the oil. After that we can push a little bit further, but we are still breaking in the engine, so I can't go full throttle yet. Oh, that looks like oil. Hope that's not too bad.